Okay. Yes, I'll allow the meeting to be recorded. Okay.
All right, you ready?
T Money yawning. Don't worry, I'll wake you up, T Money. I'll
Hey,
wake
I,
you up.
I already worked out.
You did?
But yeah,
Well,
we
you.
got a treadmill in the basement now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got a free one. I got a free one off Facebook Marketplace.
You're a mover, man. You're filling that house up.
Yeah. So
Nice job. Well, hopefully
yeah,
it's a good treadmill.
it's not that great. It's pretty shitty actually.
Yeah, I know. I hate when you really got to get nice ones that balance out and are solid base.
Yeah.
And then when you go fast, you don't feel like it's going to tip over.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it was free. It's a good starting point. So,
Good starting
eventually,
point.
yeah, just put something
T
in there for now.
T money starts going high speed. Not many treadmills can handle that
No,
speed.
no, no, exactly, exactly. So, all right, you
Hey,
ready?
sure.
All
Check
right.
1 2, check 1 2. G man, G
All right.
man.
Well,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Father, Son, and Holy Sport Weekly NFL Show, baby. It's the playoffs. It's G Man and Team Money coming to you live. Wild card weekends behind us. Now we got the divisions, 8 teams left. You ready for some camaraderie, Father, Son? We got you covered, Team Money. How you feeling there, my man?
oh yeah, playoff football, nothing more intense, making and breaking legacies right now. You just see
Ah,
some people building on their resumes, other people reverting back in the pumpkins we thought. It was a wild weekend to say the least, and now we got some big time matchups this weekend. So cannot wait to see the outcomes of these games and watch on Saturday and Sunday.
ooh, I love that. The way you said that. The legacies. Yes, we're going to be talking about that. And some legacies are not good. And then let's start with that and talk about the team everybody likes to talk about, the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy goes 49-35, Team Money, over his tenures. Made the playoffs a couple times, but didn't do too much. And now he's gone, Team Money. Smart for the Cowboys to fire McCarthy.
Look, I think so. This team was turning a little stale, and there's not a lot of moves they have left to pull because they paid CD and Dak so much. They're kind of in cap hell for the next few years. And so, what are you going to do? You can't, you don't really have a lot of assets to trade unless you want to trade Micah Parsons, which I think is, not a horrible move. And the team
Woo!
in the beginning of the season, even with Dak Prescott, was just not impressive. Their offense was stale. Dak Prescott was not looking like his regular self. This team made the playoffs last year and was really good. And I think this was the smart move. But Jerry Jones has to make a decision. Does he want to bring in just another figurehead like Mike McCarthy, or does he want to take a big swing on a guy like Ben Johnson or someone that can get you over the hump? He likes to be the guy in control. He likes to be the face of the franchise. So bringing in a guy like Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, these established guys that can really turn your team around, he just won't do. And so, uh, you know, I do think taking a swing, at least on an offensive coordinator, that may be able to get the best out of Dak Prescott, kind of like Ben Johnson did with Jared Goff. They're on similar levels. I think is the way to go. Just shake the snow globe, get something different in that building because Mike McCarthy, as good as he is kind of just a baseline good coach. And he's never going to be the guy to get you over the hump unless Aaron Rodgers has an all-time season. And that's the one time they won the Super Bowl in Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Hey, it was getting stale. And the other thing is Team Money. What do we always talk about? What is the trend of the team? I mean, 2021 to 2023, this team made the playoffs, had a great record, but 2024, they drop off. So he
Yeah.
does not have them going in the right direction. He's in his contract year, and his team declined and didn't make the playoffs. So it's headed in the wrong direction. And the NFC East is getting tougher. Philly's younger than Dallas, and they're
Yeah.
better than Dallas. And Washington's coming on. So we're this team's third place next year in the NFC East. And Mike
Yep.
McCarthy does not seem like he has any answer.
Yeah, he does not have an answer, and that's a great point. Not only has Philly been dominant throughout Mike McCarthy's tenure, now Jayden Daniels is there. So you got to see him and that Philadelphia team 4 times a year. And that team is better than your team. That team is deeper than your team. You need something else to change. You either need an elite defensive guy, go get Aaron Glenn, or Brian Flores, something where you can hold these guys in check, or you need to go get some sort of offensive creative mind. And unfortunately, I don't think he does any of that. There's a lot of names out there. I think Kellen Moore is actually the most likely offensive coordinator for Philadelphia. He's just kind of a dud. He's worked for Jerry Jones before. He'll have the repertoire of coaching one of the best teams in the league this year. I think he's not the cutting edge of offensive coordinators, but Jerry Jones wants someone familiar, someone he can control, someone who will take a deal, a cut, to so to say, compared to some of the $20 million coaches in the league. And they'll be just fine next year. And that's what the Cowboys always will be, is just fine under Jerry Jones, because he cares more about himself and the headlines than he does about the Cowboys.
Yeah, and remember, the Jerry Jones is the general manager of this team. He's not just the owner.
Yeah.
He's the general manager. So he's responsible for this team. And the performance just as much, but he's not going to share. And, some of these guys, team money, you don't take your best salesperson if you're running a company and put him in marketing, unless he's going to be a great marketer. You're going to lose all those sales. Why do some of these OCs and DCs take these head coaching jobs and then they fail? And they're really good at OCDC. So they're leaving these jobs, trying to become head coaches. It doesn't work out. Kellen Moore, leave him at the OC, man. Leave him at the OC. He's doing great at the OC. Why do we got to change that?
Yeah.
And I have questions on Ben Johnson. Why do people keep passing up on Ben Johnson? Let's talk about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson interviewed all last year, didn't take anything. He's an OC. I don't know that the guy's a head coach. What's the best opening for Ben Johnson, do you think, if he does go that route? Team money, where's the best spot for him?
Yeah, yeah. The rumor is last year he was turning down jobs because he wants to make sure his next stop is a good one. And, I think that's kind of the smarter direction. A lot of these OCs and DCs, like you mentioned, don't make good head coaches because they go to a bad organization with no quarterback talent to help carry a bad roster until they flip this team around and they fail. And so I think Ben Johnson's actually taking the smart approach here. Look, I actually don't hate the Dallas Cowboys for him. I do think that he can go in there, get a baseline level with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb above Mike McCarthy just due to his play calling, and then maybe they can flip that defense around with the right coordinator. I think this is obvious. I think the Chicago Bears is the best option for him. Look, they have a young quarterback in Caleb Williams who he can groom. They can grow together. I know he's not that great this year, but he was still pretty good by rookie standards. They have cap space, a lot of it, to go out and get pieces around him. They can build through the draft and just draft offensive linemen. The defense is already pretty stout. It was top 10 in the league before Eberflus got fired. I think there's some weird power struggles there with ownership, but I just think Ben Johnson, if he's going to take one this year, needs to have the right quarterback in place. I don't see him loving, going to New Orleans or the Jets or the Raiders. And, I like the Cowboys. I don't hate, the Jaguars if you think Trevor's the next guy, but especially coming from that division, knowing those teams in that division, I think is an advantage for him. And him going from Detroit, taking away their offensive firepower, going to the Bears, I think can help the Bears. So, I think that's the best job for him. Let's just see if the Bears can pony up with some money.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, team money. I don't know. I'm still stuck on this OC moving. I don't know. He interviewed in New England, didn't get the job. I know Mike Vrabel had inside track. I'm just saying he didn't get that. The Saints and Jets didn't even ask to interview him. And last year he did not get chosen. Is he more like Mike from Miami? McDaniel. What's that? Is Mike really a great leader? I don't know. I mean, he's an offensive guru. great offensive coordinator, but is he a great coach? Is Ben Johnson going to be a great coach? I hope they keep him in Detroit. That's my hope. I hope they keep that team together
Yeah.
and they make it worth his while to stay. So let's talk about someone that is not keeping it together, and that's the Steelers, man. The Steelers in the playoffs, they lose one in the route. On paper, you look back, you're going to say, "Oh, this team wasn't bad." You look back 5 years from now, 10-7, lose to the Ravens. Ravens could go on and win it.
Yeah.
Okay, par for the course. 8 straight season. The Steelers failed to make the playoffs 8 seasons in a row. Should they fire Mike Tomlin, Team Money?
Yeah, this is pretty embarrassing. And, I think this kind of goes back to his, really to me, his decision to bench Justin Fields for Russell Wilson.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know at the beginning, everyone's like, oh my God, this is such a brilliant move. But if you remember, because I think Russ had like 30 points in Vegas, then 30 points versus the Jets, then 26 points versus the Giants. He looked great for a stretch there when he was playing some bad teams. And then he gets this Baltimore win where they don't score a touchdown, but they kick 5 field goals. And everyone's like, okay, Russ is it, man. He won 5 games in a row, and this is the answer. And since then, they really have outside of the Cincinnati game, they really have not scored that much versus good teams. Their last 5 games, they did not score over 17 points, 13 points, 17 points, 10 points versus Kansas City, 17 points versus Cincinnati. And then in this game versus Baltimore, 14 points. The Russell Wilson decision looks like it came back to bite him in the ass. And Justin Fields could have made this team more dynamic at an offense. And this team is just stale offensively. And they've been since Big Ben left. And so I think that's part of the head coach's job. I know he's a defensive guy, but at some point, this team has to evolve into the 21st century. That is on Mike Tomlin and who he hires as offensive coordinator. These stale play callers like Arthur Smith, we called it from day one. This guy's just going to run Najee Harris into the ground. They're not dynamic passing game. That's why he got fired in Atlanta. And look at him now. He can't score with a subpar quarterback. And I think that they made a bad decision there. And I think that at the end, some relationships just are stale after a long tenure together if there's no winning. And it's not a bad thing to just go your own way.
I agree, man. Bad decision with Fields. Decision making, Team Money. His decision making. Does he, is he going to change that? Justin Fields would have added so much more spark. They were 4-2. Russ's arm looked like it had nothing in at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And so I wish he would come out and say, you know what, I made a bad decision.
Yeah.
But I love him as a leader. He said, I don't make excuses for failure. I own it. But I also feel like I'm capable. He's a leader, man. I like that about him. But as with decision making, can he lead this team to the promised land? He, in his first 4 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances. Everybody's like, this guy's a genius.
Yeah.
The last 14 years, no Super Bowl appearances. Only 3 playoff wins. And he's just not getting them there 14 years in a row. But I love his leadership. But they're falling off. Their defense fell off down the stretch. And I'll tell you what, T-Money, George Pickens is an issue. That guy's bad for the locker room, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I mentioned about the sale thing, the Eagles fired Andy Reid. He made a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb, and that team just had a down year, and they fired him. Kansas City immediately picks up Andy Reid. He gets a new fire under his belt. They have Alex Smith, who's not that great of a quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Alex Smith, sure. And then they wait a few years. They reset this roster. They're good. They're winning the division, and then they draft Patrick Mahomes. That relationship with the Eagles ended, and Andy went somewhere else, and the Eagles went somewhere else. They went to Super Bowls with Doug Peterson. They look great now. These teams can go separate ways, and not only that, the Steelers can get draft capital for Mike Tomlin. Someone might give him a 1st or 2nd round pick for this coach.
And maybe he's better in his first 4 years, like he was in Pittsburgh. So, I agree with you, man.
Little revitalization for both.
Yeah, that helps out everybody. It's true in business. It's true in sports. Why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
Let's make a change there. But the Steelers, are really going to be struggling here in the offseason on what they're going to do at quarterback. But I got a team that's not going to be struggling with that, and that's the Commanders. They've got their quarterback, and I don't care what anybody says, and some people do say it. But he reminds me of Lamar, a young Lamar, and he doesn't like that. But
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels, T Money, how impressed are you with him?
Look, I see the comps and I understand due to his running ability, he would look like Lamar, but he is light years ahead of Lamar in passing. This guy is not even close to Lamar Jackson in passing. Or it like Lamar's behind him right now. I know he had an MVP type season, Lamar did, but he is not the trustworthy passer. They are on fourth downs,
Hold on here
having
now.
this guy pull back and throw passes multiple times on fourth downs. He's a rookie. He is light years ahead of Lamar's passing at this time. And I just think that it's so impressive. It shows, I think there was a quote that came out that he runs this team like an 8-year veteran. They trust him like an 8-year veteran. Like he has the trust of this team with his arm and his running ability. I'm so impressed with him. This team won 12 games in the regular season. That's amazing. And then got a playoff win for the first time, I think since 2000 or something like that, 2001. So just super impressed all around with Jayden Daniels going down, getting a game-winning drive, with the doink off the field goal. It was just really impressive. Now, I think the Bucks lost this game. I think they had it in hand. I think, the fumble and the botch snap, those both probably were the reason the Bucks lost to this game. But Jayden Daniels, I can't say anything, more other than I'm super impressed with the guy.
T Money is sold. Hey, let me throw a T Money line at you. Let's pump the brakes, T Money. You're a little bit too excited, man. Remember the guy that used to be the quarterback of this team
I
last year?
know.
He tore it up. And what's Shaden Daniels going to do next year? Is he going to come back with that sophomore slump? T Money, come on, baby. I still take Lamar over him right now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I do like that he set NFL records. Anyone that's setting NFL records in our business, T Money, you were both talking NFL all day, man. These guys that set NFL records, okay, they are special. And he's at an NFL record rookie season. And I'm with you. But let's see what he does next year, T Money. See if he regresses back, if he can keep this up.
Yeah, that's fine. 6 wins in a row right now. He's hot. I would not want to play him if I was the Lions. This guy can put up
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, you're right. It's a projected for a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Will that Washington defense hold up? We'll see. Well, let's talk about one of the other games this week and the Bills and Ravens. Which team has the edge in your mind?
I think it's the Ravens. And I saw that this is the first time ever the Bills have not been favored in a home playoff game. First time
Ooh,
ever.
nice stat.
So it's very interesting and telling. People like the Ravens here. And let's not forget, the Ravens and Bills played earlier this year, and it was 35-10. The Ravens completely shut down Josh Allen. He had a horrible box score. I think, he threw for 180 yards, with 16 of 29. He only ran the ball for 21 yards, which is not like him. Now, I know Buffalo's on a heater, and this team, looks more dynamic than the Rams. And so I would not, if I'm Buffalo, feel scared. But if anyone should feel confident, like, hey, we got this, the Ravens should. They should have the edge because they beat them. They've been in this place that last year they made the AFC Championship game. The Bills have kind of been going in the opposite direction, losing playoff games to teams they shouldn't. And so, I think the Ravens have the edge here, especially with the dynamic run game they can lean on in Derrick Henry. If one of the quarterbacks gets shut down, who do you have to lean on? The Ravens defense might be a little bit better, and the Ravens run game might be a little bit better. Whereas Josh Allen kind of is the whole engine of this thing. So let's see here, what happens. This is going to be one of the best games of the entire season. But
I
I think the
agree.
Ravens have the edge.
I agree with you, man. I agree with what you said. Just say it maybe different ways, but I agree with exactly what you said. And the Ravens have unbelievable momentum. They've
Yeah.
had this is the best stretch they've ever played in or maybe in a long time. And with Derrick Henry and Lamar, fifth most rushing yards in a playoff game in NFL history. The Bills defense is going to give up points to this offense.
Mhm.
But will the Bills offense be able to move the ball against the Ravens defense, D-Money? The Ravens defense, one of the best in the league right now, the last, let's call it 7 weeks, since week 11. Well, since week 11, they were 27th in the NFL in yards per game prior to that. And since week 11, they're number 1. The Baltimore defense has come on, and that's why I give the edge to the Ravens.
Yep, I agree. And I think we spoke to this, the other week when we mentioned, the defense is what's going to let down Josh Allen here. That versus these good teams, they played the Rams, they let up 44 points. They played Detroit. Now they won that game, but they let up 42 points. There's some big games here where they've really allowed other defenses to win or their defense was leaky and other defenses shut down Josh Allen and their defense couldn't help him. So I think we've said that for a while, that this defense for the Bills could be what lets them down. So I think the Ravens have the edge in this thing.
You would think the Ravens would be favored, but they're not. It's a pick 'em game, but it's because it's in Buffalo, but still, it's going to be interesting. 13 degrees and snow. And I like that run game of the Ravens in that kind of weather. I don't think they're going to have a problem playing in Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hey, one thing, it's kind of an offshoot of this. I wanted to get your opinion on. Interesting, man, how Harbaugh at the Ravens keeps finding and grooming defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. They got Wink Martindale, who's now at Michigan from 2018 to 2022, second in the NFL in points allowed during his tenure. Then they get Mike McDonald, who now is doing a great job in Seattle as the head coach. There's a DC who went to become a head coach. Did a great job in his first year. Great defensive coordinator for the Ravens. And now they've got someone you don't even know, T-Money. I bet you can't even tell me who the defensive coordinator of the number 1 defense in the NFL. Who is he?
I don't know.
Zach Orr.
Zach Orr. That's right. Okay.
There you
and
go. There's another name for you.
Cherry on top for you here, Gary.
Add a cherry.
That's who the defensive coordinator for the Chargers is. That's Jesse Minter, who is a linebackers coach at the Ravens, who Jim Harbaugh, the brother, took to Michigan to become Michigan's DC and is now the DC with the Chargers, who really helped. So Jesse Minter, also sort of a defensive groomed guy there.
If you would have asked me, I'd have told you that answer. I know that answer. But hey, thanks to our show sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com. You guys ready to play some golf? All you guys in the north and fighting the snow, man. Think about your golf game and put in the coupon code FSHS. Get a 10% discount at blueteesgolf.com. Also, do us a favor, press that like and subscribe. Help us continue to bring you the fun and insightful father-son content. Now let's shift some gears. No fantasy this week, but we do have some bets for you. Let's go to that. We'll give you our lock of the week. We'll give you our dog lock for these upcoming 4 teams left. 8 teams left, 4 games coming up this weekend, and we got a beat on it for you. 54% against the spread this year. Father-son Sports bringing it to you, trying to help you. And Team Money, who do you like for your lock of the week?
All right. I really don't love a lot of these lines, so I'm taking an over-under. My first of the year here. I'm switching it up. I haven't had an over-under all year. I'm taking the Bills-Ravens, okay? 51.5. I think this is going to be a shootout. Buffalo has scored over 30 points in 11 straight games. I know that they played New England, but they rested their starters there. 11 straight games, this team has scored over 30 points. Baltimore is on a streak of let me repeat. Baltimore's on a streak of 5 straight games over 28 points, 6 out of their last 7. So they score over 28, a lot of times over 30, a lot of these games as well. So I just think both offenses are going to put up points. These defenses can't stop each other. Lamar, Josh Allen, legacy's on the line. I think this is a 30-35 game here, and I'll take the over in the Bills-Ravens game.
Okay, we got your over 51s, the current over-under. I'm looking at T-Money with his lock pick. Let's see what we can do. And you're right, legacy game, man. Who's going to win this? will determine another chink in that legacy. Who's going to get it from Lamar and Josh, and who really deserves the NFL MVP? They should award it after the game.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Well, I'm going to stay with that game for my lock pick of the week. I'm going Ravens on the money line over the Bills.
Okay.
Ravens on the money line. Okay. I know the Ravens are favored by 1. I say bet them on the money line. Give the -1. I don't care. Both teams are playing well. They both have momentum. How do they play against each other, Team Money? I looked up that stat. Ravens are 4-1-1 against the spread the last 6 times they played the Bills. And looking at that Ravens defense, number 1 in the NFL. Since week 10, the Bills defense ranks 32nd in opponent EPA per play and 31st in opponent success rate over that time frame. What's that mean? The Bills will not stop the Ravens running game.
No.
Okay, so I'm going Ravens on the money line here for my lock pick.
All right. I like it, G. Now, for my dog lock pick of the week, I'm betting we have the same thing again here. I'm going Rams +6 with the Eagles here. Look, I said I like the Rams. I like the Rams as a sleeper in the NFC. I've been talking the Rams all year that I wouldn't want to see them. I've been high on the Rams to win that division preseason. Once they got this team healthy, this team has been on a run, man. They have looked great. They've now won 6 straight. I'm not including the one where they sat their starters in week 18. And so this team has looked great. They shut down a team that could have been the number 1 seed in the NFC last week and held them to 9 points. That's their 4th straight game holding people under 10 points. This defense is young and has really turned things on. And Stafford and the boys looking like themselves, putting up 27, making it look easy versus Brian Flores, who everyone said was an elite defensive coordinator this year, and Stafford tore him up. So watch out for this Rams team to take down the Eagles in Philly. I wouldn't want to play Stafford McVay. They're 5-1 in the postseason together. So I like the Rams here.
Ha ha! Rams +6. I got you down for that. Team Money bold pick there. And going back to our picks of the year, Team Money picked the Rams to win the NFC over
Damn
Detroit.
right.
G-Man picked the Eagles to win the NFC over the 49ers. That was a bad pick. But if the Eagles win it, G-Man will recover some respectability. But Team Money still got his 2 teams in it.
Come on.
And he loves the Rams. Have loved them all year. I'm going my dog lock pick. I'm going to surprise you probably when picking Houston against the Chiefs. What scares me? The Chiefs are 6-3 against the spread the last 9 times they played the Texans, and they're 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 playoff games. I'm like, whoa. But you know what? This year's version of the Chiefs is not quite as good as those other teams, Team Money. They're not blowing people out. They've been playing with fire all year. Everybody knows it. 11 games by 1 score. And that's all I need, Team Money, to win this bet. Houston +8. I'll take the 8 in a 1-score game.
All right. I like it, G. That's going to be a close one. They've had 2 weeks rest. So that's a lot of time off. They're going to come out rusty, I think. I think this could be closer than people think, even though the Chiefs control it. But let's get to everyone's favorite part of the betting segment. And that's G-Man's player prop of the week. What do you got for us, G-Man? G-Man's player prop of the week. What do you got for us,
All right. Well, you kind of... Okay, we got it for you. Look, we always got it for you, Team Money. Hey, we're 9-5 the last 4 weeks on player props. So, hey, giving you 4 props this weekend for you to lament upon. And we're going to go with 2 that we hit last week. Why not go with them again? Bills game, James Cook, anytime touchdown. 5 games in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
And how about the Ravens, Lamar? We won that last week. Over 48 rush yards. He's done it 5 of the last 6. So Lamar over rush yards and Cook anytime touchdown. We won last week. We're going with them again. On the Chiefs game, let's go with Mahomes. Over 36 pass attempts, Team Money. Over 36 pass attempts, 6 games in a row. And 9 of the last 10, he's beat that. Now, you're going to be sweating this out, everybody, if you bet this. He had 41 the last time he played Houston. I think it goes over 36. He might get 37. Don't worry, though. It's going to go over. And last one, we'll go to the Lions game. Sam Laporta, over 50 receiving yards. They're starting to get him the ball. He's done it 4 of the last 5. Over 50. His volume is going up. They're going to need him here to score some points. Laporta over 50.
Okay. All right. I like it. Only 4 this time instead of his typical 5. So we're leaving everyone hanging, but I love it. Good picks,
4 games,
man.
4 props. 4 games, 4 props. Hey, there you go. Hey, that's it for today's show. We hope you had fun hanging out with us. Getting you ready for divisional playoff weekend. Father Son Sports loves bringing you the NFL energy. You know that. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. See you next week.
All right. Peace.